we continue our discussions on the economic feasibility. One of the important analysis, it would be the Swot analysis. Swot analysis is basically a decision-making tools helping you to identify the internal and external factors that governing your business. In the context of integrated design project, your business, it would be development of a piece of land, converting it into residential buildings or commercial buildings, and then sell to the customers. Let us discuss about the SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The strength represents the characteristic of the project that gives it an advantage over the others. The weaknesses is the opposite to the strength, which is the characteristic that places the business or project at a disadvantage relative to the others. As for the opportunity, it represents the elements of the environment that business or project could exploit to its advantage. And then the threats are the elements in the environment that could cause trouble to the business or project. Normally, we do not have problem with the strengths and weaknesses, and we also understand the meaning of the opportunities and threats. However, students normally confuse with the strength and the opportunities, as well as the weakness and the threats. They seem similar. While defining the strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats, sometimes they have the items mixed up between the strength and the opportunity, as well as the weakness and the threats. To make it simple, when we talk about the strength and weakness, we are referring to the internal factors of the project. These are the characteristics possessed by the business or the project, either at the advantage or at the disadvantage. As for the opportunity and the threats, they are for the external factors. It is referring to the environment where the project or the business is exposed to, and those elements could bring effect to your project or the business. To make it simple, strengths and weaknesses is referring to your product, which in the context of integrated design project, it can be either referring to your project or referring to your commercial or residential units. As for the opportunity and the threats, it is referring to the environment, which is the external factors of your project. Another common mistake done by the students, it will be the students conduct the SWOT analysis just for the sake of doing, which later when come to the marketing strategies, it is nearly as good as without any SWOT analysis. That means the so-called SWOT analysis is not really meaningful to the project. It does not really help in governing the decision makings. Therefore, you should fully utilize the SWOT analysis. You should make it meaningful in making the decisions whether to undertake the project or to forego the project, if you are in the middle of deciding whether to take the project or not. It can also help you to identify the potential risks related to the project, especially when you look at these weaknesses and the threats. Not only by identifying the potential risks, it also helps you to determine the likelihood of the respective risks, as well as the significance of those risks. It is so that you can have a better understanding regarding what you are going to face if you choose to undertake the project. Also, by looking at the strength and the opportunities, you can work out the strategies to promote the sales of your project, as well as to help your project to effectively achieve the goal. Knowing the strength that you possess, you can choose to amplify it and to promote them to the customers in order to attract the customers. Knowing the opportunities, you could consider taking advantages over those opportunities. It also helps you to work out the mitigation plans specifically for the weaknesses and the threats. Knowing the weakness of your project, probably you can work out the mitigation plans to minimize the impacts as a result of the weaknesses. Or you can come up with another way, looking for another group of customers, which some weaknesses may appear to be weaknesses to some group of customers, but in another group of customers, it may not necessarily be the weaknesses. There may be some other more critical concern by the customers, making them have the ability to compromise the said weaknesses. For example, let's say your development is situated far away from the town area. This could be one of the disadvantages. But in return, the residential units is cheaper. You can also look into some other strength, see if those strengths can overshadow the weaknesses. Let's say now your development areas is far away from town, but it is close to the schools, satellite town. There is petrol station nearby where the surrounding development can support the daily life of the customers for the development project, which in this case, the advantages of having the residential units close to the town can be overcome by the essential facilities supporting the daily life surrounding the developed areas, which in this case, the weaknesses of this particular project can be reduced or neutralized. Let's say we have another development project. The weaknesses of your commercial units is that the building areas is relatively small and it is relatively expensive as compared to the other units around the town due to costly land that you have acquired for the development. This may hinder the potential buyer to purchase for those commercial units. Then you could look into the strength, such as whether the location is strategic and has the ability to attract crowd for the customers to do their businesses. Reach to the customers who will look into the strength and has the ability to compromise in terms of the weaknesses. Then probably you could lock your deal with your potential customers. Similar mechanism may be applied to the opportunities and the threats while working on the strategies and the mitigation plans.